Denver Nuggets 131-113, but Patrick Williams benched before the game. Is this a permanent move or is this just Billy Donovan testing out the lineups? We'll talk about all that more on today's quick post game of Locked On Bulls. Let's go.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network. I am your host, Pat the Designer. He's still out west, so hopefully he will be back. I believe he'll be back for Sunday's game, so it'll be good to see him back in this Locked On Live with us, man, as we're getting ready for this Bull season, getting everything back in order as it should be. But congratulations to the family, man, out there in the West Coast with Hayes, man. But Bulls do come away with the win, 131-113. Big win in the sense of you saw some development, you saw some improvement from game one to game two. Liked what we saw from the Chicago Bulls out of there. Are going to get to Patrick Williams being benched is essentially the word that you got to say, right? Because he was literally put on the bench. But Billy Donovan kind of broke that down, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, I like the improvement that we saw from the Chicago Bulls. Brandon Eljet in the chat. What's going on, Brandon? I like the improvement that we saw from the Chicago Bulls. I really love how they moved offensively. I know Billy Donovan said that they got more stagnant, but I thought that there was a lot more rotation. I thought that there was a lot more from the offense, especially in that second unit that did include Patrick Williams. That was, okay, hey, guess what? We're not just going to stand here and watch Alex Caruso make a play. We're not just going to stand here and watch Goran Dragic make a play. We're going to have a ton of movement off of the ball. I think that they came up. They set a nice Andre Drummond set a couple of nice screens that really started off the roll. His ability to move in this system is going to be so key for the Chicago Bulls offensively. And then right off of that, you saw a bunch of guys moving around, giving yourself the best opportunity that you can and the most opportunities that you can to be successful. At the end of the day, right, you're not going to knock down every open shot. And that ends up playing out on almost every team, everybody you see, right? But the big thing is getting those open shots. And tonight, the Chicago Bulls did a really, really good job of getting themselves in a position to get open shots. Now, do I think that everything's fixed? This the end all be all. This offense is going to come out humming. We're going to kill a game. I'm not there yet, but you saw some good things offensively from this team and a couple of good things that they seem to continue to be going with, and that gets me excited for the start of this season. First things first, right? DeMar DeRozan looking like he is just a well-oiled machine, continuing to play his game. 22 points in the starting lineup tonight, 9 for 15. Didn't get it going as quickly as I might have thought, but got a couple of tough buckets early, got to the free throw line. He was 4 for 4 from the free throw line. But the one thing that I love is they're continuing to go with the hot hand, right? Nikola Vucevic is the hot hand right now. He had 14 points tonight on 6 of 8 shooting. He was 2 for 4 from the three-point line, 7 rebounds in this game. Nikola Vucevic told us the key to his success. He said, if you make me shoot threes all day, I might not get you 25, but if you take me out of or if you keep me in the post, I will always be able to get you your 20 to 25 that you're looking for. And the Bulls have played that out, right? Butch has gone down in the paint, absolutely back to the basket, has bullied the guys that he's been down there against. You can tell that it's a focus for him coming into this season. And so I really love what we're seeing from Nikola Vucevic kind of as we're getting this season. The preseason started rolling in, right? You're seeing him get down there. And what does it do, right? Again, same as last season. Nothing changed, right? It just, you're building that confidence for his shot going in. And then all of a sudden you look at him on the three-point line. He's not shooting 7 3-pointers. He's taking 4 of them, knocks down 2 for 4, knocked down a wide open 3, top of the key, and then knocked down one where buzzer was winding down. Zach LaVine tosses it to him off of the screen. He's open. Boom. Take this with you. Cash. Loving what I'm seeing from Nikola Vucevic to this point. And again, right, like you have to figure out kind of how you're going to continue to keep guys involved in this offense and continue to use them to their strengths and put them in a position to win. That's what I want to see from Billy Donovan. And guess what? At least in the preseason portion of this season, right? Billy Donovan's doing that. We're seeing a lot of rotation. We're seeing a lot of screens. We're not seeing a ton of standing around. We're not seeing a ton of stagnantness, right? In this offense, we're seeing, hey, listen, I'm cutting. I'm always cutting. Javonte Green was cutting. Patrick Williams was cutting. And guess what? There were a couple opportunities where both of them cut, right? And the pass didn't go through. But you're setting yourself up for the opportunity that if this pass gets here and I'm able to get it, guess what? Turn this mug over, one hand jam. We're hype about what just happened on that play, and we're going down on the other end to do what we do best defensively. Defensively, I kind of have to say the same thing, right? Like I think that the Bulls rotations were so much better tonight, especially when you saw that second unit come in, a lineup that I actually liked, and now's where we'll kind of get into this, right? You look at what Patrick Williams did tonight, and he just looked in a more comfortable role, but it was a role off of the bench. And so, of course, in the post-game show, that was all that they were talking about. That was all that anybody could ask questions about, right? Like, why was Patrick Williams coming off of the bench? And here's the one thing that I do know about Billy Donovan. While that may be something that they experiment with, and listen, in all honesty, right, the Bulls offense played better with Javonte Green in that starting lineup. Why? It's an offense they're used to. It's an offense they know. They played with it all last season. So I wasn't surprised that the Bulls offense played better last season with tonight with Javonte Green in it. That's what they were used to. And so you saw that lineup tonight with Javonte in there, but you look at that second unit lineup, and while Patrick Williams, I don't know if he's going to be the guy coming off of the bench. I just don't think they want to put Vooch in that position again. But Billy Donovan kind of talked about how he staggered guys, and he understands that because of where Patrick Williams was drafted, you got to talk about this guy as a top 10 or as a top 5 pick. You can't bench a top 5 pick. It's the preseason, you're benching a top 5 pick. And he just kind of talked about it in the sense of, hey, listen, nobody complained when Ayo was coming off the bench because of where he was picked. And Ayo played really well, and he came in and he gave us really good contribution. Now, again, I think that's a little bit of a cop-out. He said he's not trying to light a fire under Patrick Williams by benching him in this situation. He said Patrick isn't that kind of guy that needs to have a fire lit under him because he's such a team guy, because he's so confident and just coming out and being able to do what he needs to do to help the team win. But at the end of the day, right, here's what it comes down to. Even Billy Donovan said Patrick Williams is not doing enough aggressive offense for him to what's the right way to put it? He's not playing aggressive enough consistently. That's the right way to put it. He's not playing aggressive enough consistently for him to just willy-nilly throw him out there and not see what else is going to work, right? Because he talked about Javonte Green. He said Javonte, no matter he's with the bench, he's in the starting lineup, no matter what he does, he's aggressive. No matter what he does, his mindset does not change. And so to me, that's really important when you're talking about Patrick Williams, because what did we hear coming into this season? He's going to take this step. He's going to take this leap, but he has to have more of an aggressive mindset. And the thing is, right, like whether he was drafted there at 4 or not, the mindset could be something that we don't know whether it's going to change or not. And so it's interesting to see him benched. I'm not making these grandstand predictions right off of one preseason game. And Billy kept saying it. He's like, it's one preseason game. I'm not saying that it won't change anything, but it's one preseason game. And here's the thing. Is it weird? Yeah, 100%. It is. And is it weird that they staggered his minutes? Yeah, 100%. It is. Is it weird that he's not in the starting lineup? Yeah, 100%. It is. It's weird. But at the end of the day, until we get to the regular season, if we see it in the regular season, then we know. Right? Like, there's no point in speculating for 2 more games when, guess what? If Patrick Williams is coming off of the bench, and here's the one thing that they might be looking at with that, right? P. Will in a starting lineup with Zach LaVine and with DeMar DeRozan, he's not going to get the shots that he wants. He's not going to get the shots that are going to put him in a position to be successful. But guess what? P. Will in a starting lineup or off of the bench with Kobe White, with Alex Caruso, with Ayo Dosunmu, stuff like that, right? Depending on kind of where Lonzo comes back. You look at that, Patrick Williams, he was 4 for 6. He took 6 shots. He was 11 points, got to the free throw line once. He was 2 for 2. He was 1 for 2 from the 3-point line. And Billy Donovan talked about it's not about if Patrick Williams is the best player to be in the starting lineup. It's about what's best for the Chicago Bulls, what's putting the Chicago Bulls in the best position. I'll say this. While I don't think that that's going to be Patrick Williams for the rest of his career, if you're not going to take those shots with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and guys like that on the floor with you, but you're willing to take more of those shots when you're coming off of the bench with Caruso and guys like that because you're going to be the offensive focal point, then yeah, maybe you got to be benched. Maybe it's not his time to be in that starting lineup. Maybe it's not his time to take that huge leap, right? Like, I understand where he was drafted. I understand some of the issues that come in. And for me, mindset is the biggest question. Remember, I've talked about Otto Porter on here a couple of times this week, but and that's my fear that that's his mindset. But what's going to be best for this Bulls team? What's going to get this Bulls the most amount of wins? Now, I don't want another 6-4 situation at power forward. I don't think that that's going to get you the best amount of wins. I don't think that that puts you in the best situation to win in the Eastern Conference. And it's the main reason why I don't think Patrick Williams is going to be coming off of the bench this season. But the thing that I love is that the Chicago Bulls are looking at things that are going to put you in the best position to win. Also, tonight's a night when you can do that a little bit more because the Joker's not on the floor. So you don't need Vooch kind of having more of the tall help where you don't have Nikola Jokic passing it to Michael Carter Williams, when you have Nikola Jokic passing it to, or I'm sorry, when you have what's his name? Naziz? What was his name? What was buddy name tonight? Najee, yeah. When you got Najee passing it to Michael Carter Williams, you play it a little bit different, right? Like you don't have to put the same lineup out there. So I thought that we saw some good things from the Chicago Bulls. And here's the thing. The whole point of that was the lineup didn't look bad. That lineup of Kobe White, Alex Caruso, Goran Dragic, Andre Drummond, and Patrick Williams, I thought they did some good things defensively. I thought they got after it offensively. I thought it opened up an opportunity for Patrick to put the ball in the hoop. Now, granted, right going into halftime, he was 1 for 2, had only taken 2 shots. But going into the second half, you saw him attacking a little bit more. I thought it opened up things defensively for the Bulls, and it's kind of where we saw that lead opening up. And it's not a lineup I wouldn't mind seeing, bro. Like, I think that's the thing at the end of the day. No matter who gets called in the starting lineup, right? And starting at power forward, Javonte Green. If you are putting Patrick Williams out there to guard MPJ, or you're putting Patrick Williams out there to start and guard MPJ, or he's guarding him off the bench, as long as he plays him up, I don't care where he starts or sits, right? I talked about this over on the Windy City Breeze. Did I say Michael Carter Williams? My bad, dog. I meant Michael Porter Jr., the junior that the Chicago Bulls should have drafted. I'll never let us live that down. The junior that the Bulls should have drafted. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, right, like I look at that as a situation where, to me, right, I just don't care if he starts or if he comes off of the bench. I just don't care if he's the best player or he's the best player in the starting lineup or the best player off of the bench, right? Because here's the thing that I really care about. I look at like the the Utah Jazz. I've always thought Jordan Clarkson right now is better than now I can't think of his name. Now I'm thinking Michael Carter Williams. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Point guard that was there. Mike Conley. I've always thought he was better than Mike Conley since he's been there. But guess what? He helps with bench scoring. He helps with the team. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it comes down to. It's about helping the team win. And I really like that lineup. I thought that lineup did a lot of good things for the Chicago Bulls. I thought that lineup did a lot of good things for this team as a whole. And I'd be interested to see it, whether Patrick Williams is starting with it or coming off of the bench with it. As long as we're winning games, who cares? Who cares? You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. I'm not going to stay on here too long. We usually, I guess, post-game shows, we usually only do about 10, 15 minutes on here. So I gave y'all a solid 15 in this mug, man. I would love to know how you guys feel in the comments below on the Bulls win tonight. I think the Bulls did a lot of things well. So let me know in the comments below on that as well. If you want to check out another post-game show. I will be dropping our post-game show over on the Windy City Breeze, so tune into that as well. We just did that kind of after we did the live call, so we're going straight into that. And after that, man, I mean, Bulls win. That's what it comes down to. And that's what it's gonna be. Like, it's preseason, bro. I'm not out here losing my mind one way or the other. Like, Muzz have been dying. Yeah, I mean, like, I love that about Bulls fans. Like, I love how diehard we are. But it's preseason, bro. And here's the one thing I need y'all to understand. The best part about preseason is that when you're good, your players are usually just going through the motions. And I think that's what we're seeing from this Bulls team. And they're still winning games. So that's what it comes down to. Hey, man, appreciate you guys for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day or your last listen for the post-game show. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening on the podcast side, make sure that you give a 5-star review. As always, man, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer and follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago.